Folks, I'm going to talk about offers you never knew about. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending January 29th, 2025. So we've got this listing and I get a phone call and this is a couple and they say, how come your clients are not responding to our offer? I asked them their names. Thinking my clients, they're referring to the sellers, not responding to their, it just caught me by surprise. And through a little bit more conversation, turns out that they said 2 days ago they signed an offer with their agent and they're waiting for a response back from my clients, the sellers, but I never received any offers. And again, through a little bit more conversation and a little bit more after that call, doing a little bit of digging on my own, that agent that representing them has a similar property listed in the neighborhood. And I can't say for sure. I'm only speculating here. I'm taking a guess. But it sounds like to me, maybe, just maybe, that agent was not submitting their client's offer to purchase the home I had listed and was trying to, I guess, steer the clients into buying the home he's got listed. I'm not saying that for sure, but it kind of feels that way. I've been in a similar situation to this where an offer doesn't make it to the table from the other side. And the example I just gave you, I was representing the seller, but I've been represented the buyer before. It's happened more than once where I get an offer from my buyer, all signed, I submit it to the seller or to the listing agent, let me say, and I call the listing agent right away just to confirm that they received the offer. And we're talking about it. We're talking about closing date. We're talking about, aspects and conditions and aspects of the actual offer. And now it's up to the listing agent's job to present that to their sellers. Good part of the day goes by. I send 1 or 2 messages saying, hey, how's it going? Are we going to hear back? And it's starting to approach the expiry time of the offer. And I'm not hearing anything. Eventually, just before the offer was to expire, I end up speaking with the agent. And his attitude is no, sellers don't want to deal with this. And I thought, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with the offer? No, sellers just don't want to respond. I go, but what is it? They need more money? Is it a condition? Like, what's wrong? Give us a counter offer then and, let's negotiate this. And his attitude was simply, nope, that's it. Move on, was the agent's attitude. I'm feeling like, hey, maybe the offer was never really presented to the sellers. I explain this to my buyer clients because remember, they put the offer, like they've signed this offer, they're waiting for a response, they're excited about potentially purchasing this home. And when I explained to them, it was such a letdown. They're also thinking, well, our offer wasn't like so bad. It wasn't so illogical. It's not like we're trying to get the home for free. It was a decent offer, and in most cases should have deserved a counteroffer. And so, they have this doubt. The next morning, I sent a form to that listing agent. Now, this is it's called Form 109, Offer Conveyance. And what this form does is it asks the sellers to sign saying, yes, they received the offer, they reviewed the offer, and they're not interested, or, we sent a counter, or whatever the case, whatever the result is. But it basically asks the seller to sign that they, in fact, received and reviewed the offer. So I sent this to the listing agent. I said, on behalf of my clients, please get this form signed. And he called me right away and said, what is this? What's this for? And I explained to him that, my clients have doubt that your clients actually saw the offer. They're surprised they didn't get a counter offer. So just so we can put my client's mind at ease, can you just get the sellers through DocuSign? It's like 2 seconds, just get him to sign that they received the offer. He huffed and puffed and eventually hung up, and I thought that was the plan. He was going to do that. Instead, that afternoon, I received a counteroffer to our client's original offer. So I called the agent. I said, look, yesterday you said your clients had no intention of even giving us a counteroffer. I asked you to sign the offer conveyance form, and now we get a counteroffer. What's going on? He goes, well, the sellers thought about it. They changed their mind, and they've relooked at it. Now they want a counteroffer. I'm speculating here. I'm just guessing again. But for whatever reason, that agent did not show our offer to the sellers, would be my educated guess. Maybe the seller had their own buyer client they were trying to buy the same property that he had listed. So he was looking to represent the seller and the buyer. Maybe. I'm just guessing when I say that. This has happened to me a few times through my career where I have to pull out this offer conveyance form as a tool to put myself and my client's mind at ease that the offer was actually seen. And this is good for both sides. Either you're representing the seller or you're representing the buyer. Because if you're representing the seller, sometimes your counteroffer, you're wondering, did it actually, get shown? So look, there's tools out there that can help us. They're not foolproof, but there's tools out there that could help give you peace of mind. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. We're going to be focused on Mississauga, Brampton, Peel region, Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby for the Peel region area. Detached properties only. Here's a quick summary of average sold prices. I've got 3 months on the board, week ending January 29th. Mississauga's been climbing. Let's start with that. We're going to start with the detached properties across Mississauga for week ending January 29th. 26 were sold. 5 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, look, we would expect sales to be increasing over this time period, and they kind of sort of are, but not so aggressively. Anyways, 26 were sold. Average sold price has been climbing each week. We're now sitting at $1,526,000. 1,526 is 6% higher than where the average sold price was this time a year ago. The median price of 1.3 is 2% lower. 26 we said were sold, almost a third, 31% sold at list price or more. And listings, we would expect listings to be trending upwards. We know there's a high percentage of properties that did not sell last year that are coming back onto the market this year. Well, look, listings are up from the previous week. It's 71 this week, 63 the previous week. But the previous week before that, we're at 91. So we'll see which way listings are actually going over a bit more time. But I would expect them to be increasing. Active listings really haven't changed much. If we go to the beginning of the year, 381. We're now at 388 for active listings. We hit 409, but there's just not a big spread there. It's going up and down, but just by a few each week. So active listings is pretty steady. This is a long way of saying active listings are pretty steady. Hasn't moved much across Mississauga. Months of inventory dropped a little bit. We're now at 3.4 months of inventory, just into the balanced market category or territory. That's Mississauga. Here's Brampton. Sales are increasing, not by that much, but they are trending upwards. 42 detached properties were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price, $1,199,000. And if we draw a line basically at 1.2 million, it's one of the higher average sold prices that we've seen across Brampton for a whole year. 1,199,000 is 2% higher than where the average sold price was this time a year ago. The median price of 1,155 is 4% higher year over year. 42 were sold, 29% sold at list price or more. Listings coming down. We would expect them to go up. Active listings were increasing. They did come down for week ending January 29th. Months of inventory looks like it's trending down slightly. We're now at 3.2 months of inventory for Brampton detached properties. I would say this is Durham region, but I am really just focused on Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby for Durham detached properties for week ending January 29th. 32 were sold, so sales slightly increasing each week so far. 32 were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Looks like average sold prices from the beginning of the year are starting to trend down a little bit so far. Average sold price for week ending January 29th is $1,107,000. 1,107 is 3% higher than this time a year ago. The median price of $1,087,000 is 4% higher. 32 were sold, more than half, 53% sold at list price or more. Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby, especially for detached properties in the lower price point, is one of the areas across the GTA that has a high percentage of new listings being listed out of the gate with an offer date pricing strategy. Listings trending down a little bit. We went from 77 to 70 to now 68. Active listings was trending up, but it did come down for the week that we're in. And months of inventory, pretty low, sitting at 2 months of inventory. Now, when I say pretty low, it's in relation to where months of inventory is in all other parts of the GTA. So 2 months of inventory is pretty low. Compared to Brampton, it's really low. Compared to Mississauga, 2 is really low. Compared to condos across Peel region, extremely low. 2 months of inventory. So it will be, in some areas, a seller's market. Predominantly, though, especially if we're referring to Mississauga and Brampton, it's going to be more of a balanced market. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.